They say you can't control the weather. But what if that's the lie that makes it possible? Every day, we look to the skies for answers. We check the forecast. We trust the data. We accept the rain, the drought, the flood, the fire, as nature. As fate. As chaos. But what if those skies are being shaped? What if the droughts are chosen? The storms, designed? The disasters, deployed? This is not science fiction. This is weather, as a weapon. For decades, governments have explored weather modification, cloud seeding, geoengineering, ionospheric manipulation. They told us it was experimental, harmless, limited. But if history teaches us anything, it's that what begins as science becomes strategy. And what begins in secrecy becomes control. The first official weaponization of weather dates back to Project Popeye in the Vietnam War. The US military seeded clouds to flood the Ho Chi Minh Trail, aiming to wash out enemy supply lines. It worked. It rained. It drowned the jungle. It changed the course of a war. But it also opened a door that should have stayed shut. Because once you know the sky can be controlled, you stop trusting it. Today, the technologies are no longer crude. They are vast, sophisticated, silent. Massive antenna arrays like HAARP, the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, beam radio waves into the upper atmosphere, allegedly to study ionospheric conditions. But many believe these facilities can do much more. That they can alter jet streams, trigger earthquakes, disrupt weather systems, even heat the sky. Satellite-linked networks, high-altitude aerosols, metallic nanoparticle sprays, barium, strontium, aluminum, reflective clouds, hidden frequencies. Climate manipulation has become a code word for war we're not allowed to see. But sometimes, we feel it. You see it in the sky. Unnatural cloud formations. Grids, trails. Shadows that do not move. Thunder that arrives with no storm. Sunlight that feels wrong. They told us chemtrails were a conspiracy. But patents exist, programs exist. Funding exists. Experiments have been conducted openly for decades, under the guise of solar radiation management and climate intervention. They claim it's to save the planet. But who gets to decide what planet is worth saving? Who chooses the temperature? The clouds? The rain? And what happens when weather becomes policy? Imagine a drought in a hostile nation, delivered by plane. A hurricane rerouted. A wildfire strengthened. A heatwave amplified before an election. Imagine agriculture collapse. Energy blackouts. Flooded coasts. Not by accident. Not by climate. But by code. This is not theoretical. In 2015, China openly announced its Tianhe weather modification system, capable of generating artificial rain across the Tibetan Plateau. The project covers a land area larger than Spain. Russia has its own programs. So do India, the UAE, and Israel. And the United States? Far ahead, but far more silent. The problem isn't the technology. It's the trust. Because the same institutions that denied these programs existed for decades, now claim they're necessary. And they want you to forget the denial. Forget the lies. Forget the patents. Forget the toxic side effects. Forget the warnings from whistleblowers, scientists, pilots. You're not supposed to question the sky. But what if the sky is no longer natural? What if climate change is not just an unintended consequence, but a managed outcome? They'll tell you the Earth is warming. And it is. But they won't tell you about the geoengineering experiments increasing atmospheric absorption. The dark aerosols that trap heat. The disruptions to cloud albedo. The rise in respiratory illness linked to atmospheric particles. They'll say, trust the science, but they control the science. Peer-reviewed papers are filtered. Dissenting researchers are defunded. University programs are bought. And the media? Silent. Always silent. Because if you knew the weather was being manipulated, you might ask why. You might realize that weather, like data, is now programmable. And programmable systems can be hacked, controlled, weaponized. What is a thunderstorm but an energy release? What is a cyclone but motion? In the wrong hands, clouds become missiles. Rain becomes sabotage. Sunlight becomes policy. And in the future they're building, nature itself will become permissioned. You'll hear terms like climate justice, carbon compliance, and atmospheric stewardship. But what it means is this: you will not own your weather. You will not escape it. You will be scored by it. And it will change around you. Without vote, without appeal. All in the name of safety. But what is safety when the skies are rigged? They will show you computer models. They will parade experts. They will publish white papers. They will call you delusional. Until you look up and see a pattern that cannot be denied. A web of manipulation too large to ignore. Because the goal is not just to cool the earth, it is to govern it through the atmosphere itself. This is the new war. It's not fought with bombs. It's fought with clouds. It is silent, legal, sanitized. And it makes you question your senses. But once you realize it, you can never unsee it. So look up. Read the patents. Listen to the silence of those who once spoke. And ask yourself, when did the weather stop being wild and start being programmed? If you're still watching, you already know the answer. You already feel it. And now more than ever, we need to ask the hard questions. Because the sky was never supposed to be owned. This is Dark Data Files. We don't ask you to believe. We ask you to look. To question. To dig. If you're still here, you're one of us. Hit subscribe. Because the truth is no longer hidden underground. It's hidden in the clouds. And it's time we cleared the air.